Hello guys, and welcome to the second video for digital literacy. This is connected to Excel Task 2, and today we'll be going through how to reproduce this kind of Excel table. Some of the features of this table will be similar to features that you've done in the first table with some similar skills, and then others will be different. Particularly later, I'll be introducing some different formulas for you to use here. These will be useful for you when it comes to the final assignment, when you need to use those formulas in it and you get marks for using those formulas. So again, what I will do is kind of run through how to reproduce this table and kind of run through how you can use these different skills that you'll find on the question sheet that I give you. So let's have a start. What we need to do, like before, is to make kind of the title table, and this will be again using that kind of merge and center option. So I'll kind of have one cell here, and then I'll drag it across 8 because we're kind of using 8 for this one. So we'll drag it 8, and then I'll drag it down about 5 so that I've got enough space to write the words. Do this. Then, if you remember from before, I'll make this bigger so it's all there. There we go. Cool. And then here, as before, you've got the merge and center option. So I'll click that, it will merge it and center it, so it's like one big cell. What we need to do is write this information. Here the information is kind of in 3 lines, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. So the first one says sample class IELTS scores, and it's in bold. So what I'm going to do is go to the B here where my mouse is and click bold and type. That way it will be in bold. Normally you would press enter here, but if you press enter it will move the cursor to a new cell, but we want to keep everything in the same cell. So to make it so that you can write on different lines within the same cell, I'll press Alt and enter. That will allow me to write on a different line but in the same cell. So now I'll write the next part. Scores needed for UK University entry. Very exciting stuff. Again, I'll need to make a new line. So again, I'll press Alt and enter and it makes a new line. The number 6.0 is in bold, so I'll click B for bold. There we go. And then I'll unclick B, so it's not bold anymore. 6 overall, no less than. Then I'll click bold again because the number is in bold. And then unclick, so it's done in each skill. There we go. So that way we press enter and it's kind of all here in the section. I've got some space above because I did a few extra rows. It doesn't really matter, so don't worry about that. What we need to do too is to give it a border. If you remember from before, we'll click on the cell, then go next to the part where the bold kind of section is, which is this kind of box here, and click down and go down to more borders, and we'll look for the kind of double line one because it looks like it's kind of a double line, which is here. And I'll click outline and OK, and you'll see there's a lovely double line. So that's the first part done of that table. When you go down, we'll find that there's these kind of criteria that we need here. So I'll type this name, we've got reading, listening, there we go, listening, speaking, writing, task 1, some of you may remember from IELTS, writing task 2, overall, and pass, stroke, fail. Cool. So that's done. The overall is in red, so I'll change that to red. Pass, fail is also in red, so I'll change that here. So we've got these kind of criteria that we need. The next bit is kind of, what I'm going to do is kind of make the whole table, as it were, in one. So if you watch, I think we need 15 rows for all the names. So I'll drag it out to 15. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Lovely. Then go across like this. Actually, I'll start from here. and go down. So it's about 15, I think. Then we need to use the border again, because if you look at the border, it's quite line, dot, line, dot. So then we go back to the border section here and go down here. The border seems to be like dot line, dot line. It looks like this, I think. So we use this one. Then we'll click outline here to make it all around, and inside so that it goes within every box. So it looks like every cell is separated very clearly. That's okay, and it's all done. That's lovely. For this, you kind of have to make up your own names and your own scores and things like this, especially up to writing T2. So I'll do some names. Alex, John, lots of exciting names here. Robert, Samuel, Murray. All these very exciting names. And then for the scores, you can just make them up yourself, make them kind of IELTS scores, so that these are kind of, because in IELTS it will be 0.0 or 0.5, so make sure that your scores are like this. So I kind of make them up. Very exciting, right? Lovely. So you got your table and your scores. But what we need to do, and we're going to use a particular formula for this now, in the overall section, we need to do kind of an overall average score. So for example, Alex at the top got reading 5, listening 6, speaking 7, writing 8. In the overall column, we want to do their average score for all these scores and kind of round it to the nearest 0.5. So what we'll do then is use a special code. Before I do that though, is if you remember from the previous table, we got these numbers, we do it here too, and we centered them, and we made sure that everything was either 0.0 or 0.5. If you remember from before, when you select the numbers you want, we put them in the center here, in the center justify. And then to make them either 0.0 or 0.5, we right click, go to format cells. At the moment it's at border because I did a border previously. But if you go to number, and then in category go to number, and then decimal places, click 1, it will make them all 0.0 or 0.5. I've also done this for the overall section because that will also have a 0.0 or 0.5 at the end. So as I said, for overall, we want the average score for each person rounded to the closest 0.5. Now there is a code that we can use for this, and I've got it saved here, and I'll show you how it works. So this is the mRound average system. So in here, where it's this kind of fx thing, I'm going to paste the formula. If you notice, it's brought up kind of a blue box because the formula at the moment thinks it's cell B7 to F7, but actually we started it a bit lower. So I'm going to change mine, and Alex was B8, and we're going to change that to F8. If you notice, it will bring it all together here on the line, so Alex is now in blue. When I press enter, it will give an overall score rounded to the nearest 0.5. Now for the other people, you have two options. You could either paste in the formula and then change the cell for each person. So for Alex it was B8 to F8. John would be B9 to F9. Or, to save time, you can click on the original one and then click on the very small green box in the corner and drag it down. Bang! That will also automatically do the sum for you. Once you've done it once, then Excel knows that you want to do it again. It's very exciting. So now we've got the overall score with this. Now, if you look back at the title, it said scores needed for UK university entry, 6 overall, and no less than 5.5 in each skill. So what we want to do now is work out, have these students passed or have they failed? So a student could have 6.5, but for example, Alex has 6.5, but the reading was 5. So we need to work out if these people have passed or failed. For this, there is another formula, and it's quite long, but it's also very exciting. So we put it here and we paste it. Again, I've pasted it and you notice that the boxes are colourful but in the wrong place. So we need to change them so they're in the right place. So this will go from B8 over to G8 because this takes into account all of those ones. So B, C, oh yeah, D, can you guess what's next? E, oh yes, F8, G8. So now it takes into account all of those boxes. This formula means if the student has passed or failed. That's why at the beginning it says equals if. Then at the end it says pass or fail. So if the student has passed or failed. The actual numbers in the middle refer to the cell. So you need no less than 5.5 in each skill. So for example, B8 is B8, no less than 5.5. And that's the same for C8, D8, E8, F8. G8 is different because that needs a 6 overall. So this is no less than 6. So this will work out if they passed or failed. Let's have a look. And it says Alex failed. So sad. Like before, you could also then paste the formula into every cell and then change the cell numbers. Or you can click at the top, take the green box, drag down, and it will work out who has passed and who has failed, like that. It's like magic, isn't it? Amazing. So you notice here, some students have passed and some have failed. Alex failed, so sad. But John, who got 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, so got an 8 overall and an 8 in everything, passed. And that's likewise for all the other students. So those are some different kind of formulas that you can use, and you can use these to determine certain outcomes based on data. Very nice. Next part, we need to make a couple new tables with students, total students, and see who has passed and who has failed. So again, it's a fairly simple process down here. We need kind of 2 across and 3 down. And then remember, we'll make a border. So we'll go to here. Let's check the border. What kind of border? It's just a black line. So let's go to the border. More borders. Just a black line, not too thick. So maybe like this one looks nice. Outline and inside, so they're all kind of separated. Bang, and there it is. I'll fill in the number. So what they had total students. Notice this will be a bit big, so I'll drag the A1 across. We want who passed, and we want who failed. Lovely. To work out the students, remember we read total numbers before, which used a sum system, but this time we're working out the total number of students, but this time it's names, so we can't use the sum system this time. Because this is only a small amount of data, 15 names, you could just say 15 names. But if this is useful if you have, for example, a very long spreadsheet with thousands of pieces of data, and that way this will work it out for you without counting those thousands of pieces of data. So what we need is something called count A. This is the next formula here. So I'm going to take it in the box, put it up here, and then it will count a certain amount of cells. At the moment it's counted these ones in the B column. We don't want that because we want to know the total number of students. We want the names. So we will do count A, and it goes from A8 And then the last one will be A22. It will count the total number of students from there and give me the total as 15. You could have guessed 15, sure, but if you've got a table with thousands of names and you don't know exactly how many thousands, this will be a very useful tool for you. Now you want to know who has passed and failed. Likewise, we could just count it because this is a small table, but this is a useful formula, again, if you have thousands and thousands of people who've passed and failed and you don't want to count those thousands, this will work it out for you. So this one is called a count if. So this is counting the people if. When you click it in, bang. Again, notice the table is different. So it will count everyone who has the word pass. That's why it has the word pass in inverted commas. So we just need to change the cells so they're correct. So we want H8 and we want it to go to H22, same as before. That way it counts the box. It will count everyone who has passed. 6. So it counts those 6 people who has passed. Failed is a similar code that I've done here. You would just change pass to fail and it will count that word, how many words that say fail. So we'll change this back. It'll count everyone that has the word fail, and it's 9 because we had 15 people, 6 passed, 9 failed. This is useful for you guys when you come to do certain reports when you're at university, and you may have certain experiments that you've done, or you may be doing things with processors or anything that has thousands of pieces of data. This is a good way for you to quickly amass that information. Finally, we want a pie chart. So this is like your insert charts before, so hopefully you'll remember this. So what we need to do, we click on the past, then press shift and right, and then down. So we've got past, failed, and the numbers. Then we'll go to insert, recommended charts, and we'll take this one because it's lovely. Let's give it a title. What was the original title? Proportion of students passing or failing. So we'll give it that. Lovely. Notice it's got the data ready for us already. What I'll then do, at the top it kind of brings this design and you can choose what kind of information you want. So I will choose, for example, this third one. Looks nice, and it also has kind of a percentage score that you can have here. There you go. Oops. Lovely. Now we can move this down, and there you go. You have finished Excel table number 2. Fantastic. Remember to save it with your name, put your student number so it's clear. Congratulations, wonderful.